What I'm going to do now is magnaflux some heads for you and show you what we're looking for when we magnaflux, and we'll talk about the 305 versus 350 heads. I'm assuming you're probably going to want to use the 305 heads, I'm sure.
It sounds like it. Like we were talking earlier about the compression.
Better in the long run. But I want to show you what we're looking for when we're magnafluxing. You can't always see this stuff by eye.
Oh, you know you can't. If you can see it by eye, it's bad.
It's bad, yeah.
It's bad.
So this magnet magnetizes the iron, and this powder that I'm going to spray on here will actually stick in a crack. The crack interrupts the magnetic
flow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but that's what it does.
Hey, man.
So
this stuff a lot of times turns out to have to be science.
I guess.
We've
learned anything there.
Yeah, looks like a good one.
Oh, there's one.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's bad. That's real bad.
It is, isn't it?
So let's see how that really shows up.
Oh, wow, look at that. That's terrible. Just terrible.
Yeah, that's a pretty severe, pretty nasty crack.
Very. Yeah, that is a nice piece of equipment though, boy.
It's handy.
Yeah.
You can use it on blocks and heads. In fact, I used it on your block initially.
It's almost like a pre-test.
Kinda. And on cylinder heads, 99 times out of 100, they're going to crack in the combustion chamber.
Really?
That's where all the pressure.
That's where all the pressure is, the heat,
especially
the
on the
energy.
exhaust. The exhaust valve is almost always in this area or out across the deck surface. Some heads are more prone to cracking.
Really?
Yeah, and
now
it's just nice to do them ahead of time instead of cleaning them up and then finding a crack. You know, after you waste your time cleaning.
Now, like the 305, 307. Which heads do you like?
305s. Well.
Uh-oh. A can of worms.
Yeah.
A can of worms.
There's so many heads available anymore.
I know.
You can spend
If you was going to build you a cheap motor, what would it be?
Well, it depends on what you start with.
Okay.
These 882 casting small block Chevy heads, they're heads. That's about it.
That's about it.
Yeah, I mean they work.
They work, but you're not going to get a lot out of them.
But they're one of the heads that's prone to crack.
Really?
Yeah, that's. They only used them in early to late 80s.
Okay.
Actually before that too. When did they start using them? 76 maybe.
Right.
78. And they were terrible.
Just had design flaw in
I
them.
don't know if they were too thin but there's a lot of heat in the exhaust side, and that really the hot
Put
and
the-
cold,
put
hot
hot
and
cold,
cold,
hot-
and cold.
But it
takes its toll on stuff. But you can use the 305 head route is really good. They're not as plentiful as they used to be.
Yeah.
They're
That's
getting a
true.
little bit scarce.
Yeah.
But because most people throw them away.
Well, yeah, but I like that idea of building the higher compression.
You can use a 305 head, the 58cc version, on a stock 400 small block and get almost 11-to-1 compression. With
Really?
Stock. Yeah. So if you're in a round class that requires stock pistons, stock heads, you can do that. Of course, 11-to-1's too much for the street. You can't get gas for it.
It won't run on that bad gas, will it? Not very well,
You have to
no.
back the timing off so far to kill it.
And then it's sitting there loping so
But
much.
this is about the cheapest way, unless you can come up with good GM heads, which the best GM head right now is the 96 and up Chevy truck Vortec head.
Really?
That head is really, really good. A lot of super stockers use them. Stockers, or they can use them in stock class.
Is it good for the compression, or is it just a good
small
sturdy?
combustion chamber. The ports are excellent, right out of the box. They're as good as
Does it go
some
in
of the
good?
old race heads were. The only downfall of them is you have to have a specific intake manifold because they changed the intake bolt.
Right. Turn into one of the modern motors.
Yeah, and they make them in the crate motors I build. I'll put Vortec heads on.
Right.
Use the Edelbrock air gap And they work really good.
I have to keep that, especially if I ever put together a late model. I have to keep that in
Well, they
mind.
fit on early. You can use them on any.
Really?
They'll fit any small block. But you have to be sure and get the specific intake method.
Exactly.
But they're about the best head right now as far as what GM makes.
So we're going to
Unless you to
go
an aftermarket.
350 block and what size head?
305 heads.
And 305 heads.
These
All right.
particular heads have, I think, 59 cc. I checked them yesterday. So they're right in that ballpark.
Beautiful.
Flat top's going to be about 10-1. So
Oh, that'd be
depending on the
wonderful.
deck height and the pistons, but we'll work with that later.
All right, man.
Okay. So we know what we're looking for anyway.
Yeah, we don't like cracks.
I don't like cracks.
Cracks are bad.
Say no to crack.
That say no to crack, especially in motors.
I should let it.
Oh,
Now this is 305 head, one of the ones we're going to use.
it does look considerably different,
Can you
doesn't it?
see the difference in the combustion chamber?
Yeah, I can actually.
There's quite a bit of difference. Actually, this other head is a better comparison. See the difference in the, well, you can tell how narrow it is here and how wide it is here.
Yeah.
There's one clue. And this chamber's all big and open here versus this smaller chamber.
You're literally going to build up more pressure because there's not enough room to play around in.
Right. You're squeezing the same amount of volume into a smaller chamber.
Into a smaller chamber. All right.
So all that comes into effect. Now, these 305 heads do have a little smaller intake valve than these, but these heads really build a lot of torque down low up to 4,500 RPM. They start falling off pretty fast.
Really?
But most people don't drive at 4,500 RPM. That's quite a bit, actually.
That's fairly high
That's
RPM.
pretty high, yeah. For street motor, that's pretty
Yeah.
high. And for towing and stuff, they work really good.
Okay. I like the thickness between them cylinders too. It looks like a stout head.
Yeah. These are, like I said, I think they're 84.
And you know, I've heard a lot of people say those motors weren't any good. I mean, a lot of
They're
them,
not real
a lot of them
popular.
on my car, buddies. Oh man, they beat them up bad.
A lot of that wasn't necessarily, they put pretty tame camshafts in those motors, and they were really heavy on emission stuff and detuned them, so
They got beat
they got
up
a
for
bad rap.
They got beat up before they ever got out of the factory, didn't they?
Yeah, they are a small block, you know.
I like it.
And
Yeah.
Fords and all of them the same way too. They start changing stuff to drop the compression. And,
Right.
And the emissions and mileage is really what they were after, you know.
And killed the horsepower in the
Right,
process.
they didn't care about that at that time,
No.
and that was mandated. They had to do it.
Right.
But now, of course, that's with modern electronics and fuel injection. It's gone the other way now with the new muscle cars.
Now they want horsepower again.
They got 350 horsepower out of 6 cylinders and still get 30 miles a gallon.
Ain't that
It's
crazy?
insane, yeah.
That's insane.
Crazy. So let's check this head. See if it's cracked.
Now, do you do a lot of the modern stuff too? I mean, you know.
Yeah, I'm starting to do
Because
some.
we're trying to get you people in here. So do you do
Yeah.
a lot of that kind of
Yeah,
stuff?
the new LS motors and
Exactly.
the Hemis, the 4.6, 5.4 Fords. We're doing some
Okay,
of
so
those.
you're all up. You've read your manuals.
Well,
you're-
I'm still learning some of it.
Are we? We all are.
I guess.
No, we are, man. I mean, like every day. If we're not, something's wrong with us.
I have to invest in some new tools and changing procedures, the shop procedures that
Yeah, they do
from the
that.
traditional. Even though there's still an engine, you still have to.
You know, they gotta sell you tools, man.
I guess, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
This looks pretty good so far.
I learned a long time ago. That's their main business is to sell stuff.
Yeah. Oops. Bad news.
Oh, bad news.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I guess I should turn it on first. See it?
Yeah, sure do.
Yeah, I'll have to rustle up another head.
Oh, that sucks.
Huh. Oh well.
That's a darn shame. But that's why you do
That's
that.
why I do it, yeah.
Oh, that's a darn shame.
But I have some more, so I ain't too worried about that.
But look what we learned. I mean, you know, you can't do work on something that's already messed up.
That's right. preliminary stuff and disassembly is real important. Just finding stuff like this.
I think it's the most important.
It is, and a lot of people just take stuff apart and throw it in a box, and they don't really take the time to look, what it's telling you,
Which is the entire build.
Right, save problems down the road. So.
Yeah, well, I come from the body shop side, and if it ain't got a solid frame, it can look beautiful, but you pull it out on the road, it's gonna fall in half.
Yeah, we don't want that.
You don't want that, especially after you put all that money in it.
Yeah, right.